The year I loved Augustine the most, he died in a car crash. Everyone thought I'd fall apart. But I didn't cry or scream. 2 years later, at a private lounge, I ran into him. Augustine was holding a young girl, kissing her like he meant it. His friends rushed over to explain. The truth is, Augustine was severely injured in that accident and ended up in a coma. He just woke up recently. But he's lost his memory. We didn't tell you because we didn't want you to live in constant fear or worry. Augustine gently pushed the girl aside, walked over to me, and with a frown, said, "So you're the one they say is my fiancée. I don't remember anything. But since you clearly still have feelings for me, I'll honor my promise and marry you." I smiled faintly and replied, "They lied to you. We don't know each other." What Augustine didn't know was that on the day of his supposed death, I received a video. In the video, he was smiling as he spoke to someone. Just thinking about spending my whole life with only Celestine after marriage, I can't do it. I'll fake my death. Have some fun for a few more years. You guys make sure to comfort her so she doesn't do anything stupid. What he also didn't know was that during those 2 years he was dead, I found someone else. The friends around us froze for a second, then started trying to talk me down. "Celestine, how could you say you don't know Augustine? We were the ones who kept it from you. It wasn't his fault." "Yeah, we only did it for your own good. We didn't want you to worry all the time. Now that Augustine's finally awake, don't take it out on him with a tantrum." The room was filled with blame. Before I could speak, a scoff rang out. Augustine got up from the couch, cigarette between his fingers, speaking lazily with amusement in his voice. "Well, if we don't know each other, that's fine by me. Less responsibility for me to worry about." The girl clinging to his side quickly latched onto his arm, lifted her blushing face, and said nervously, "Augustine, if she doesn't appreciate you, I do. I'd marry you, okay?" Augustine didn't reply. He just gave me a passing glance, then wrapped his arm around the girl's waist and kissed her. The friends around us all moved at once to block my view. They tried to comfort me. "Celestine, you know he lost his memory. He used to love you more than anything. Yeah, Seal, you should take care of him, help him remember. Don't be so cold." I opened my mouth, ready to say something to Augustine's so-called friends, but a sudden pain shot through my stomach. My face instinctively paled. I didn't stay. I turned and walked out of the room. I moved fast. So fast that no one inside had time to react. Once I was completely gone, they turned to Augustine with concern. "Augustine, maybe you pushed her too far." Celestine looked really upset. Her face went completely white. "What if she actually leaves you?" Augustine chuckled, sitting back down on the couch. "Celestine's easy to win over. After 2 years, there's no way she doesn't still want me. Besides, I've got the amnesia card. When I'm done having my fun, I'll just tell her I got my memory back. Say it wasn't really me back, then skip the apology, wiggle a finger, and she'll come running back." As soon as I stepped out of the lounge, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I crouched down on the floor. Pain kept pulsing through my stomach, so intense that I didn't even have the strength to make it to the restroom. Then a shadow fell over me. A familiar voice spoke. "What's wrong?" Heartbroken, hoping to get back together with him, I looked up and saw Sebastian leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, staring at me with a cool expression. He was dressed in all black. High-bridged nose, his eyes unreadable under the dim lights. His lips, under the glow, were sharply defined and elegant. In that moment, a wave of injustice surged in my chest. Tears, uninvited, began to fall. Sebastian panicked instantly, quickly dropping his arms and walking toward me. "Don't cry. I won't say that again." He was tall, solidly built, strong. With one arm he scooped me up from the ground. The scent of cedar clung to him, calming yet intoxicating. I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck and murmured, "My stomach hurts." Sebastian paused for a beat. "Came early," I nodded. My lips accidentally brushed his jawline as I leaned my head on his broad shoulder. He carried me to the car, turned on the heat, and said, "Wait here." I'll get you something. Then he shut the door and walked away. The amber streetlights cast a warm glow over his tall, straight figure as he walked into the distance. Not long after, a video call request popped up. It was from Sebastian. They're out of the brand you usually use. Do you see anything here that works? I was just about to choose when a familiar voice, mixed with surprise, cut in from the video. Augustine had walked into the store, arm around the waist of that same girl. He glanced Sebastian up and down and laughed. No wonder you didn't come out drinking tonight. Turns out you were busy shopping for some girl. Huh? Are you video calling her right now? Come on, let me see who this magical girl is that managed to make our stone-hearted CEO catch feelings. As he spoke, he reached out, trying to grab Sebastian's phone. I instinctively turned my face away from the camera. But Augustine never touched the phone. Sebastian just gave him a look. One look, and Augustine pulled his hand back. All right, I get it. You're really guarding her. Next time bring her out and introduce her to us. By the way, I saw Celestine tonight. She walked into the wrong lounge and caught me kissing another girl. Scared the hell out of me. Luckily the guys were quick on their feet and said I lost my memory. I'll just play dumb a bit longer, then say I recovered. Honestly, Sebastian, I owe you big. That fake death idea you gave me was genius. I wasn't ready to settle down. And this gave me the perfect excuse. The camera shook slightly, and the next moment, the call disconnected. Sebastian didn't return for another 10 minutes. When he did, he didn't look at me. He handed me the bag and quickly slid into the driver's seat, locking the doors behind him. I asked someone to drop off some red date ginger tea at your place. Will you go home and drink it? His voice carried a rare hint of caution. It almost made me laugh. Sebastian was a well-known heir in the capital's elite circles, and Augustine's best friend. Back when I used to tag along with Augustine to dinners, Sebastian was always there. He was cold to me, especially whenever people joked about me and Augustine showing PDA. He wouldn't even spare me a glance. Sometimes he'd even mock me or act openly annoyed. Everyone in that social circle assumed he hated me. Until the day Augustine died in the car crash, I received a video from Sebastian. In it, Augustine was smiling as he said to someone, "Just thinking about having only Celestine for the rest of my life after getting married. I can't do it. I'm faking my death to enjoy life a bit longer. You guys take care of her, make sure she doesn't do anything dumb." What I didn't expect was that the whole fake death scheme had been Sebastian's idea. This man, he's got a calculating mind. As soon as we arrived at Sebastian's villa, before my feet could fully touch the ground, he scooped me up in his arms. After I finished cleaning up in the bathroom, he laid me on the bed and handed me his phone to play games. Once I'd finished my warm drink, he casually took off his clothes and got into bed next to me, gently massaging my aching stomach. The ceiling light cast a soft glow, like a veil over his defined abs. Each line seemed to tell a quiet, untold story, tempting, inviting exploration. That's exactly what I thought, and exactly what I did. Sebastian's eyes darkened as he caught my wandering hand. "Behave," he warned. I didn't. He cupped the back of my head and pulled me down to him. After 2 years, he knew my body like the back of his hand. When things reached their peak, he took my hand. His voice rough and low, "Help me." I already knew Sebastian had impressive stamina, from the night I'd drunkenly ended up in his bed. It wasn't until my wrists ached unbearably that he finally stopped. Just as he was about to carry me to the bathroom, his phone, lying by the bed, rang. I accidentally rolled onto it, hitting the answer button. "Seb, I'm thinking of throwing an engagement party with Julia to mess with Celestine. What do you think?" She saw I'm alive and didn't even bother to check on my health. All she did was get jealous and mad. And now she's ghosted me. Looks like she's grown a spine after 2 years. I need to teach her a lesson, make her feel the pain of losing me again. I've got some plans. When the time comes you. Augustine's voice rang out from the phone, but before he could finish, I gasped. Not because of what he said, but because something had stirred back to life. And it moved in my hand. Embarrassed and furious, I shot Sebastian a glare. From the phone, Augustine's voice returned. Full of surprise. Sebastian, what the hell are you doing? Is there a woman with you right now? Wait, is it that same girl you were video calling earlier? 2 years had passed. And all I'd done was let out a single sound. Given how many flings Augustine had in that time, he didn't recognize me just from that. Sebastian didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on me. Dark. Intense, filled with something I couldn't name. I glared again, wriggled out of his arms, and started crawling toward the other side of the bed. But I didn't get far. He grabbed my ankle and pulled me back in. Augustine kept talking. Bro, you've got to bring her out sometime. I need to see who managed to crack that stone-cold heart of yours. Now that you've got someone, I guess I can't set you up with girls anymore. Huh? Oh, and about the engagement. I was thinking of asking you to invite Celestine. But then I remembered how much you've always hated her. Before he could finish, Sebastian hung up on him without hesitation. He tossed the phone aside, wrapped one arm around me, and carried me straight to the bathroom. By the time we came out again, 3 hours had passed. Sebastian wore a look of complete satisfaction. I shot him a death glare and flopped onto the bed, ignoring him completely. I picked up my own phone and checked a message. It was from one of Augustine's close friends. 2 years ago, Augustine had introduced me to all his circles. Celestine, Augustine's getting engaged to someone else. It's happening in 7 days. Please talk him out of it. I don't want him to regret this when he gets his memory back. None of this is what he really wanted. I glanced at the message, then deleted it and tossed my phone aside. I'm not the type to go looking for trouble when life's finally quiet. Augustine's engagement has nothing to do with me. Sebastian reached out to pull me into his arms again. I glared at him and quickly scooted to the other side of the bed. No way I was going through another 3 or 4 hours of that. Word quickly spread. Augustine wasn't dead and he was preparing to get engaged. A lot of people reached out to me. Some offered sympathy, some cursed Augustine for being a scumbag. And others just came for the drama. My college roommate Luna called me, her voice filled with rage. When I first heard Augustine wasn't dead, I was so happy for you, but now he's getting engaged to someone else. That's outrageous. Since when did amnesia give someone the right to betray their fiancé? Hasn't anyone reminded him you're the one he was supposed to marry? No way. I'm not letting my bestie get played like this. I'm going to find out where his engagement party is. We're crashing it. I'll raise hell for you. I chuckled. People get divorced even after marriage. An engagement that can be cancelled too. My relationship with him ended 2 years ago. What he does now has nothing to do with me. But Luna was still fired up. I just can't let it go. You waited for him for 2 years. I saw you single all that time. I was mid-bite into a cookie and almost choked. Waited for him, who I just hadn't gone public with my relationship with Sebastian yet. Luna kept urging me to go confront Augustine with her. I turned her down again and she sighed. Fine, fine. Then come out with me tonight. It's been forever since we hung out. I'll treat you to some drinks. I didn't have anything better to do, so I agreed. Luna picked the place. She arrived before me. When I saw the hotel in front of me, I paused in confusion. Didn't you say we were going to a bar? Why a hotel? Luna avoided my eyes and tugged me inside. Bars aren't safe at night. What if we get drunk and something bad happens? A nice hotel lounge is safer. We can grab some snacks, chill. It's better this way. She led me inside. As the lobby doors swung open, my face darkened. It was Augustine's engagement venue. On stage, he was already at the ring exchange part of the ceremony. The girl standing across from him was the same one I'd seen him kissing at the bar. She looked up at him shyly, her face glowing. Augustine, on the other hand, looked tense. He kept glancing toward the entrance. When our eyes met, he paused for a second. Then his brows relaxed and a faint smile tugged at his lips. The MC standing beside them asked, "Do you, the groom-to-be, promise to be by the bride's side for every important moment in the future?" Augustine glanced at me from the corner of his eye. His smile deepened. "Of course." He slid the ring onto Julia's finger. The guests below erupted into cheers. "Kiss. Kiss." Julia blushed even more but still tiptoed closer to Augustine. He didn't hold back, pulled her in by the waist and kissed her deeply under the applause and teasing shouts. I turned and looked at Luna. She avoided my gaze, but still nudged me urgently. "Celestine, go up there and take Augustine back. He's your man." I didn't speak. I just stared at her quietly. Luna and I met in college. We went to class together, ate together, traveled together on breaks. I genuinely considered her a friend. But now the hotel doors had been shut. Augustine's friends were stationed at the entrance. It was obvious who they were trying to block. "Celestine, I just couldn't stand seeing you get treated like this. That's why I lied to you and brought you here, to help you get some revenge. I'll go up and cause a scene right now." Luna didn't look at me as she rushed toward the stage. I stood still and asked calmly, "Luna." "Julia, she's your cousin, isn't she?" I remembered Luna mentioning it once in college. She had a cousin. "So what? Your cousin asked you to bring me here to make a scene, embarrass me, make her look better by comparison." My words hit home. Luna froze, stunned. I gave a short, cold laugh. "Just because your cousin treasures that kind of disgusting man doesn't mean the rest of us do." I glanced around the hall. The venue was elegantly decorated, the wine, snacks and pastries all high-end. They clearly put a lot of effort into this. They all wanted me here. Well, now I was. No way I'd just stand there. I found a seat, picked up a piece of cake and started eating, all the while casually observing the crowd. Sebastian was on a business trip. He couldn't make it tonight. Luna, fuming, stormed over and pointed at me angrily. "Celestine, what's wrong with you? You're just bitter. Jealous, saying the grapes are sour because you can't have them. My cousin and Augustine love each other and you're slandering him because you're envious." I scoffed and was about to reply when suddenly a woman's voice interrupted, soft, shaky and on the verge of tears. The engagement ceremony on stage had ended, and at some point Julia had made her way over to me. The moment our eyes met, she lunged toward me, grabbing both my hands. "Celestine, please. Don't blame Augustine. He's lost his memory. He doesn't remember you. He only loves me now. It's not his fault. If you're upset, take it out on me. Hit me, scream at me. I'll take it all. I'll even get down on my knees if you want. Just please don't blame Augustine." Julia moved fast. Her fingers dug tightly into my wrists, her nails sinking deep into my flesh. The pain made me instinctively shake her off. It wasn't a hard movement, but she let out a sharp scream and dramatically collapsed to the ground. A second later, someone shoved me hard. I was wearing heels today. The sudden push made me lose my balance and my ankle twisted under me. A wave of pain shot up my leg, nearly bringing tears to my eyes. Augustine stared at me furiously. "Celestine, you've gone too far. Who gave you the right to come to my engagement and bully Julia like this? Do you think I don't exist anymore?" Apologized to Julia. The guests in the hall had already been watching me the moment I appeared. Now, with drama unfolding, they gathered even closer, eager for the show. Someone whispered loudly, "Celestine, you and Augustine are history. You don't belong here." Causing a scene at his engagement, not a good look. Exactly. People should know their place. He doesn't love you anymore. What's the point in forcing it? A forced relationship is never sweet. Julia lay in Augustine's arms, eyes red, sobbing softly. She tugged at his sleeve and spoke gently. Augustine, it's okay. I don't blame Celestine. Seeing you with me must have made her sad. It's only natural. It's normal that she'd hate me, resent me. As long as she doesn't blame you, that's enough. This isn't your fault. Augustine looked at Julia tenderly before turning to me, his expression icy. Celestine, whatever we had ended 2 years ago. Now the one I love is Julia. If you hurt her, I won't let it slide. Apologize to her. Now. From where the crowd couldn't see, Julia gave me a smug, mocking little smile. I smiled right back. All right. I'll apologize. The next second my hand struck her across the face. And just to make it look better, I gave her other cheek a matching slap. Perfect symmetry. Julia screamed and burst into tears. Augustine, fuming, raised his hand to hit me. But his friends rushed forward to stop him. They whispered urgently to him, "Don't take it too far. If you get your memory back, this'll all be a mess." Come on, man, Julia doesn't even compare to Celestine. Don't lose your mind. Augustine looked like he wanted to say something, but just then, one of his friends suddenly called out, "Sebastian, you're back, quick." Celestine twisted her ankle. "Take her home." At the sound of his name I turned, and saw Sebastian walking toward me from across the hall. In the back seat of the car, Sebastian's face was stone cold as he took off my shoe and gently rested my foot on his lap. "Weren't you on a business trip? Why are you back?" "It wrapped up earlier than expected. Then I saw the guys in the group chat saying you showed up at Augustine's engagement party." I knew about that group. Sebastian and Augustine's social circle had won. During Augustine's 2-year fake death, he'd posted plenty of updates in there, proudly sharing his carefree life. I glanced at Sebastian's clothes. He was still wearing the same outfit from this morning when we'd video called. Knowing his habits, he'd usually change after landing, which meant he hadn't even gone home. He came straight here. Luna tricked me into going. Julia's her cousin. Looking at Sebastian, I hesitated, then explained the whole situation to him. This man may look quiet, but his mind is always working. There's no going back. Whatever I had with Augustine ended 2 years ago. I'm not here to crash his engagement. Sebastian said nothing, but his expression softened visibly. He took me to the hospital and got x-rays of my ankle. Not a serious fracture, but not mild either. Bed rest for a month, no wandering around. While the doctor was putting a cast on me, Sebastian disappeared for a bit. Outside the hospital room, Sebastian stood in the hallway listening to a call from his assistant. "President, our partnership with Augustine has been officially terminated. A few projects are still in the process of separation, but we're speeding it up. Augustine called, said he couldn't reach you directly." Sebastian responded coldly. "Ignore him." Understood. Once the cast was finished, Sebastian returned and brought me home. In the following days he stayed with me the entire time, afraid I'd get bored. He didn't go anywhere. When the day came to remove the cast, he wanted to call a doctor to come to the house. I refused. After being stuck inside for over a month, I wanted some fresh air. Insisted on going to the hospital. When we got out of the car, I felt like I could walk fine, but Sebastian insisted on carrying me into the doctor's office. I couldn't argue him down, so I let him. But all the stares around us made me a little embarrassed. I buried my face into his chest. Meanwhile, not far from the hospital in a bar, Augustine sat in irritation, staring at his phone, calling someone over and over again. But the call kept going unanswered. His friends around him exchanged uneasy glances before one of them finally asked, "What's going on?" "Augustine, what did you do to piss Seb off? This is serious." Augustine rubbed his temples. He honestly didn't know how he'd offended Sebastian. Enough for him to end all business ties between their families, cutting everything clean. Could it be because of Celestine at the engagement party? Someone had asked Sebastian to escort her out. He had always hated Celestine. Could it be that he was offended by the request, felt like it dragged him in, but that didn't make sense. Sebastian wasn't the petty type. And Celestine, she wasn't important enough to shake the bond between them. The thought only made Augustine more agitated. It reminded him of the early days of his career, when everything went wrong and frustration clung to him like a storm cloud. Back then, Celestine had always been there, comforting him, encouraging him, helping him figure things out. Unlike now, all Julia ever did was tell him to stop checking his phone or to drink less. Beyond that, she didn't know what to say. Suddenly, he kind of missed Celestine. Just as he was lost in thought, a new message popped up in the group chat. Holy shit. Look what I just saw on my way in. That's Celestine, right? Who's the guy carrying her? Augustine opened the image. It was a photo taken outside the hospital entrance. Celestine was being carried in a bridal-style embrace by a man. It had rained earlier. The sky was dim and the man's back was partially blocked by a passerby, his identity hard to make out. But Celestine's side profile was unmistakable. Augustine froze. Then with a cold laugh he hurled his glass across the bar. She's really got some nerve. What, found some random guy to make me jealous? She's not afraid I'll remember everything and find her disgusting, dump her for good. His friends looked at each other silently, none daring to speak. After leaving the hospital, I was finally able to walk on my own. But just as we stepped outside, my phone buzzed with a new message. I unlocked it and checked. It was from a number that had been silent for the past 2 years. Celestine, my memory is back. I didn't save this number under a name. But once upon a time I could have recited it backward in my sleep. Sebastian saw the message too. He instinctively tightened his grip on my hand like he was afraid I might suddenly run off. Expressionless, I deleted the message. Then I turned to Sebastian and smiled. Seb, let's get married. After sending the message, Augustine casually tossed his phone aside and leaned back, a satisfied smile playing on his lips. In his mind, he could already picture Celestine's reaction. She'd be over the moon, probably on the verge of tears. He could almost hear her trembling voice as she called him, asking where he was, saying she needed to see him. Should he answer her first call or make her wait a little as punishment? After all, she had the audacity to flirt with another man. She deserved a little payback. Augustine made up his mind. When Celestine called, he'd let it ring the first time. He'd pick up on the second. Give her just enough panic to remember who really had the upper hand. With that thought, he picked up his phone again. Celestine would definitely cry when she saw him. He'd already ordered her favorite pastries from years ago. Time to spoil her a little. The cake arrived. But Celestine's call never came. Augustine frowned. What was she doing? Hadn't she seen the message? He hesitated, then dialed her number. The call couldn't go through. He waited another 10 minutes and called again. Still unreachable. A strange unease crept into his chest. He borrowed someone else's phone and tried again, and this time it connected immediately. As soon as the call went through, before the person on the other end could speak, Augustine blurted out, Celestine, why'd you block my number? You thought I died and didn't want the reminder, is that it? Silly girl, I'm still using that number. Unblock it, okay? Oh. And did you see my message? I've got my memory back. Augustine leaned back on the sofa, smiling to himself. He could already imagine Celestine's voice, shocked, emotional, overjoyed. But what came through the phone was a child's voice. Are you looking for my auntie? She's picking out her wedding dress right now. I hadn't expected Sebastian to move so fast. Right after I said those words, he'd taken me straight to a bridal boutique. We started designing the dress. Then he contacted his family and began preparing everything. Betrothal gifts, invitations, a wedding house, the works. After my measurements were taken, I came out of the fitting room and saw Alicia on the phone. When she saw me, she ran over holding out my phone. "Auntie, I'm sorry, someone called you while I was playing a game and I accidentally answered. I didn't mean to." I glanced at the screen. It was a strange number. A voice came through the phone, shaking with anger. "Celestine, you've gone too far." I blinked. Then I understood, and ended the call with a press of my thumb. I gently ruffled Alicia's hair. "It's okay, Alicia. Keep playing." The last thing Augustine expected was that, after finally getting someone to answer the phone, what he'd hear would be that. He didn't believe it. Celestine must have told some kid to lie for her. She was getting way out of line. Rubbing his temples in frustration, Augustine made up his mind. When he saw Celestine again, he was definitely going to spank her properly, teach her a lesson so she'd finally learn to behave. This time he wasn't going to call her again. He wanted her to know he had a temper too. If she thought she could go too far and he'd just take it, she was wrong. He tried to rally his friends to drink with him, but no one moved. The mood was off. Weird. Too quiet. Augustine gave a half-laugh, trying to lighten it. "What's with you all? Why aren't you drinking? Celestine's just messing with me." "It's nothing." He hadn't taken the call in private. His friends had heard everything. He figured they were just concerned. "Give it an hour, tops. Once Celestine sees I'm ignoring her, she'll stop playing games and call me back." With a smug grin, he downed his drink in one gulp. But his friends still stared at him, like they were watching a slow-motion car crash. Until someone handed him a phone. Seb just sent out his wedding invitations. He's getting married, and the bride is. On the luxurious ornate invite were two names. Groom, Sebastian. Bride, Celestine. Celestine's name came first. Sebastian's came after. The wedding was set for 2 weeks later. And those 2 weeks were a complete blur of chaos. The day I told Sebastian, "Let's get married," I just wanted to reassure him. He always seemed so unsure of where we stood. I never expected he'd move that fast. On the wedding day, the venue was packed. So many familiar faces filled the room. Friends who used to hang out with Sebastian. And Augustine came over with glasses of champagne, offering their congratulations. Augustine came too. He stood in the crowd, eyes red, fists clenched so tightly that the glass in his hand shattered. Blood dripped down his palm. I frowned when I saw it. When our eyes met, Augustine's gaze lit up. He quickly looked down at his bleeding hand, then glanced back at me with an almost pitiful expression. Seeing blood on such a joyous day. What bad luck. I looked away and replied coolly. Such an unlucky sign indeed. Augustine's face turned pale. A moment later, security escorted him out. The wedding ended 2 hours later. It had been an exhausting day. Sebastian and I returned home, but just as we reached the front door, someone blocked our path. It was Augustine. He looked like he'd been waiting there for a long time. The moment he saw me, he rushed forward trying to grab my hand, only to be kicked aside by Sebastian. Climbing back to his feet, Augustine glared at Sebastian with wild eyes. "Sebastian, you shameless bastard! Celestine is my fiancée. Who gave you the right to steal her from me?" His face twisted with fury and pain as if he'd just suffered the greatest betrayal in the world. "I treated you like a brother, and this is what you do to me." Losing it completely, Augustine began hurling curses at Sebastian. Sebastian frowned and was just about to call security when I stopped him. I gave him a small shake of the head, then stepped toward Augustine. A flicker of hope lit up in his eyes. "Celestine." I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. I'd wanted to do that since the day of his engagement party, ever since he pushed me. "Augustine, whatever we used to be, it ended 2 years ago. The man I love now is Sebastian. If you hurt him, I won't forgive you. Apologize to him now." The words left Augustine stunned. They should have sounded familiar. After all, he'd said something nearly identical to me not long ago. For a moment he stood frozen. Then he blurted out, "Celestine, I only said those things because I had amnesia. I didn't mean them. I've gotten rid of Julia. She won't come between us anymore." I gave a small, cold smile. "Is that so? Please believe me. It's true." After my memory came back, I realized the only one I've ever loved was you. You had to give it to him. Augustine really was a convincing actor. Even now he was still performing. I didn't bother wasting more words. Instead I pulled out my phone and hit play. Just thinking about marrying Celestine and having only one woman for the rest of my life, I can't do it. I'll fake my death and mess around a few more years. You guys keep her company. Make sure she doesn't do anything stupid. As the recording played, Augustine's face turned pale. He started shaking his head, stammering, "This is fake. It's not real. It's edited." I let out a short, sharp laugh. "Augustine, I'm not a 3-year-old. He instinctively took a step back. His lips trembled. He opened his mouth a few times, but no words came out. "So, you knew. You've known for 2 years. I didn't bother answering. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. "Celestine, if you knew this whole time, why didn't you say anything? If you had told me, I would have treated you better. None of the rest would have happened." That sentence honestly made me sick. What kind of person says something like that? Sebastian saw Augustine grab me and without hesitation kicked him away again. Augustine clutched his stomach and staggered back up, pointing at Sebastian. It was him. He's the one who gave me the idea to fake my death. If not for him, I wouldn't have done it. We'd be married by now. Celestine, don't be fooled. Sebastian is manipulative. He's not who you think he is. Sebastian held my hand, instinctively tightening his grip. I had already known all of this ever since I saw that video, but we'd never really talked about it. And honestly, I didn't feel the need to. It was just a little trick he used to win me over, I said lightly. I squeezed Sebastian's hand and led him toward the house. He gave a wave and security stepped in to remove Augustine. The next time I heard anything about Augustine was 3 months later. This time he was actually dead. They said it was a car accident. Luna sent me a storm of angry messages filled with curses and blame. "Celestine, you heartless bitch, do you even know what kind of hell Augustine's been living in? Drinking, fighting, totally wrecked. Because of you, how could you break his heart like that? Well, now he's dead. Drunk driving. Are you happy now?" And a whole bunch of other disgusting messages I didn't bother reading. I just forwarded them to Sebastian's lawyer. The lawyer filed a report. Luna was arrested and educated by police, and ended up with a criminal record. I didn't pay much attention to it. I was busy picking honeymoon destinations with Sebastian. Extra. Sebastian. When did I fall for Celestine? Probably back in college. We went to the same university. I fell for her the moment I saw her. Before that, I always thought love at first sight was a ridiculous concept, something that would never apply to me. And yet there it was. But before I had the chance to confess, I was sent abroad on assignment with my advisor. By the time I returned, the next time I saw her was at a dinner party. She was already my best friend's girlfriend. I knew her. She didn't know me. I still remember that moment clearly. She stood next to Augustine, smiling softly, and introduced herself. "Hi everyone, I'm Augustine's girlfriend, Celestine." In that moment I actually thought, I don't want this brotherhood anymore. But I couldn't do anything. They were already engaged. And Celestine genuinely liked Augustine. There was nothing I could do. Maybe I was just stupid, knowing they loved each other, yet I still showed up to every dinner she attended, just to torture myself. I endured it for a whole year. Then came the news. They were finally getting married. That's when I told myself, let it go. But the night before their wedding at Augustine's final bachelor party, he said he hadn't had enough fun yet. That's when I knew my chance had come.